Visit licensureexams.com and try our samples completely free of charge.
Hey there, lovely therapists. Get ready for a deep dive into another exciting episode as we explore fascinating topics you need to know to pass your licensure exam.
In this podcast, we're going to explore techniques and examples of how it's employed in therapy.
Dialectic behavior therapy combines elements of cognitive behavioral therapy with concepts from Eastern mindfulness practices. It is based on the idea that individuals with emotional dysregulation and self-destructive behaviors can learn new skills to manage their emotions, improve interpersonal relationships, and develop greater control over their lives. Here are some techniques you need to know. Chain analysis. Chain analysis is a technique to understand elements of the sequence of events and circumstances that lead to a specific problematic behavior or emotional response. It involves identifying the problem behavior, describing the specific event in detail, analyzing vulnerabilities, and then identifying the chain of actions that lead up to the problematic behavior. Example, if a client engaged in self-harm, the therapist might say, "Let's walk through what happened step by step before, during, and after you harmed yourself, so we can identify what led up to it and how we might interrupt this chain in the future." Devil's advocate. This is used to challenge a client's rigid thought processes. In this context, the therapist might challenge the client's beliefs or assumptions to help them see things from different perspectives, understand the consequences of their thoughts and behaviors, or encourage them to consider alternate viewpoints. Example, the therapist might say, "It sounds like you don't think your life is worth living, but let's look at the evidence. What things in your life have brought you joy or satisfaction?" Balancing dialectical dilemmas. Balancing dialectical dilemmas is a foundational concept in DBT. It involves balancing and reconciling opposite positions or truths, and encourages clients to find a middle path between accepting their situation and desiring change. Example, if a client is torn between leaving or staying in a difficult relationship, a therapist might say, "It sounds like part of you wants to leave this relationship because it's causing you pain, but another part is scared of being alone. Let's explore ways to care for yourself regardless of your decision." Distress tolerance. Distress tolerance techniques teach clients to tolerate and survive crises and other distressing situations without resorting to self-destructive behavior. Example, a therapist might encourage a client with intense anger to use a distress tolerance technique such as distracting themselves. They might suggest, when you notice your anger building, try shifting your focus to something else. This could be a book, a puzzle, or even walking. Emotion regulation. The therapist helps clients learn how to recognize and manage intense emotions to make more effective decisions and live healthier lives. Example, if a client struggles with intense sadness, a therapist might instruct, "Let's identify what might be contributing to this intense sadness. Then we can explore coping strategies such as engaging in activities you enjoy or changing your body's physical response by using deep breathing or relaxation techniques." Interpersonal effectiveness. These are skills aimed at improving relationships, reducing conflict, and improving communication. They involve learning to ask for what you want effectively, saying no, and setting boundaries and maintaining self-respect in interactions with others. Example, a therapist might role-play a difficult conversation with a client, providing feedback and guidance. They might say, "Let's practice how you might communicate your needs to your boss. Remember, it's important to use I statements, express your needs clearly, and be assertive without being aggressive." Mindfulness. Mindfulness in DBT refers to being fully aware and present in the moment. It encourages clients to observe and describe their thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment or attempts to change them. Example, a therapist might ask clients to participate in a mindfulness exercise, such as focusing on their breath. They might say, "Let's take a moment to close our eyes and focus on our breath. Notice how it feels as you breathe in and out." There's no need to change anything about your breath. Just notice and be aware of it. Opposite action. Opposite action is a skill used when emotions do not fit the facts or are ineffective in a situation. The person chooses an action opposite to the impulse connected to the emotion. Example: if a client fears attending a social event, the therapist might suggest, how about trying to attend the event anyway? It's an opposite action to your fear, and you can then observe how you feel during and after the event. Radical acceptance. This is the practice of completely and fully accepting reality just as it is, without fighting against or denying it. This acceptance doesn't mean approving or agreeing with the situation, but rather acknowledging it as it is. This acceptance can lead to decreased suffering. Example: a therapist might encourage a client dealing with a recent breakup to practice radical acceptance by saying, it's very painful when a relationship ends, and it's natural to wish things were different. But right now, let's work on accepting that it has ended and acknowledging your feelings as they are. Self-soothing. Self-soothing involves comforting, nurturing, and being kind to oneself, typically through the 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Example: a therapist might suggest to a highly stressed client, let's create a self-soothing plan for you. It could involve lighting a scented candle, listening to your favorite music, drinking a warm cup of tea, or any other activity that helps you feel calm and centered. Validation. Validation. This involves recognizing and accepting another person's thoughts, feelings, sensations, and behaviors as understandable within their context. Validation can help build a trusting therapeutic relationship and decrease defensiveness. Example: a therapist might tell a client expressing feelings of guilt and shame, it's completely understandable that you're feeling this way given what you've been through. Your feelings are valid, and it's okay to experience them.